Hello, everyone. I am Raymond Sharp, and this is my lovely wife.
Tanisha Sharp.
And we're here to jump in. We want to welcome everyone to jump in. This is a time and occasion where we like to share, help encourage people to keep going, keep pursuing their dreams. And sometimes we stop, sometimes we slow down, and sometimes we don't know where to go. But the most important thing is for anyone to just start, find a re-entry point, find a starting point, and go from there. And of course, jump into it. And sometimes when you jump in, you may not have everything figured out. You may not have all the plans, but you do need to just start somewhere. So don't make any excuses not to do anything. Let's find a point to jump in. Today, I want to talk about, and my wife and I would like to talk about getting out of a rut. Sometimes we are stuck in a rut. And the awesome thing about understanding how to get out of something is understanding what you're in. And when you're in a rut, it's typically a predetermined path. If you can imagine, recently we had snow here in the Carolinas, and, some people went out driving, and the easiest way for you to drive in snow, to drive in blizzards, to drive in any type of icy conditions is to kind of follow the path that everybody else is taking. So you won't experience any sliding and, just being careful, because once you start to get off the path, you could slide or you can, skid off the road and potentially get into an accident. Similarly, with the rut, once you are in that designated rut, once you're in that path, you tend to stay there until you can figure out, hey, I don't need to continue going this way. I need to find a way out, or someone needs to pull you out. So one of the biggest things that we want to encourage you to do to get out of a rut is to get someone that you can be accountable to. Let them know that you're stuck. Let them know that you need help, some assistance, some guidance. Let them know that you haven't been sticking with your plan. So many times we do too many things by ourselves without realizing that we need a mentor. We need somebody there to tell us that we're on the right track. We're off the right track. And just to put us back where we should be and get us going so that we can make progress instead of continually staying stuck in the same cycles.
Yes, I totally agree. I mean, you just said a mouthful. It's just so important to get out of what you're in. And sometimes we feel like we can't get out. And most of the times it's because we're by ourselves. And so a lot of people are not excited about accountability. But I think accountability is very important because somebody needs to know. And people don't want people to be in their business, but, when you know that there's purpose and you know that you're supposed to be doing something, you're called to do something or something that's on you so strong and you got to do it, have somebody tell somebody and say, hey, help me through this season, help me through this rut season, because you got to get out of it. You got to do what you have been purposed to do. And so some of the things that, that's why it's so hard. That's why sometimes we fall in this rut, because it is the very thing that we're supposed to do. And so you got to work your way out of it. But don't do it by yourself.
Don't do it by yourself. One of the biggest things too, and be careful of who you tell. Make sure you're telling people, and sometimes we make the mistake of announcing things because we want people to know what we're doing. We want to seem important or seem like we have status or some clout. That doesn't matter, because there's a lot of people that announce what they're doing, but nothing ever comes out. So I would, you don't have to put the fact that you're starting anything on social media or, make this big grand announcement. Just go to the people that's going to help you get there. There's a lot of things that, my wife and I have worked on over the years. We have our circle of people that we trust. We let them know what's going on. We let them know also for accountability, like, hey, this is what I'm thinking about doing. Is this even the timing for it? Is this even right? Am I looking at this correctly? So sometimes the answer is no, you shouldn't do that. And we trust the people that God has put in our lives to give us guidance and assistance in those areas. So be careful of your motives. And the biggest thing that you have to get out of is pride. Pride will make you announce things that you're not going to work towards, because you see everybody else making an announcement. So I got to say something about what I'm doing, but really you're not doing anything. You just want attention. You want to, just to seem important. So let's make sure that we're doing things for the right reasons, because some of us are stuck in a rut because of pride. We refuse to ask somebody for help because we don't want them to know that we're stuck or we're struggling or we don't have it all together. And none of us have it together. None of us are perfect. All of us need help. It's kind of like showing up to kindergarten and say, I got it. No, you don't. You need to learn the basics. And all of us, if we don't need to know the basics, I think we need to be reminded of the basics, because we get so far off of base sometimes that we need to go back to those beginning blocks, that works, you know, and even on the simplest forms, you know, when you're doing higher level math, it goes back to some of the formulas that we learned when we was young, like, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. I still remember that formula, you know, going back to like the basics of even arithmetic and writing. We need to go back to the basics so that we can make sure that we haven't left the core of, you know, first of all, who we are, what we're meant to do, and also losing sight of who we're meant to impact.
That's awesome. Yeah. So all that is great. Yeah. Pride will definitely keep you in a place where you're not going to move forward. So this is not the time for it, especially when you know that you're behind. You should be further along than you are because you just haven't put any legs to what you're supposed to be doing. So let's go. Let's jump in.
Let's jump in. So until next time, we hope that this is helpful. We hope that this is encouraging.
Be encouraged.
Find a starting point.
Yes.
Find someone that's going to hold you accountable, and also let them know your goals. Don't be afraid, even with your goals. Sometimes people are stuck because their goals aren't big enough. Don't be afraid to dream big. Don't be afraid to swing big, but at the same time, master the fundamentals so you can get on base. Getting on base is more important than hitting home runs. The home runs will come, and the biggest thing is just perfecting your swing.
Absolutely.
Keep swinging at it. Keep working on it. There's so many great mentors that are out there waiting for someone to ask for help. So until next time, we want you to what?
Jump in.
Y'all take care, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.